Let's have a chat with Svetlana. Glad it's all over, even if there was a fight. We'll talk tomorrow once I've finished working. Let's not steal from her right in front of her. Is this our room then?
It's just not my lucky day.
Aw.
What troubles you?
Already failed to pick the lock, so she can't keep going.
Our duty calls.
I am yours to command.
Can't pick,
I'm
can't
listening.
pick. Can't pick. So the only person who can pick can't pick that lock because she's tried. I can get a cat. I don't know how they work. I don't know how cats work. Cats don't work, let's be honest. Going to our traveller centre, we'll take that. That might be useful. So, right, the cat. Oh, this is our personal stash. Okay. Magic belt. +2 enhancement, bonus to constitution, +2 resistance bonus on saving throws against diseases, fatigue, and exhaustion. And a ring that lets you cast Bless. And then there was a scroll that I don't know if I'll ever use scrolls. I'm really bad at not using things I should be using. Right, so +2 constitution. Do I give it... Like, this is the thing. It's like, do you give it to someone who's got low constitution, which would be Erdos, or do we give it to someone else who's... I think Lindsay shouldn't get it, because she doesn't have the lowest constitution, and she's not going to be in combat that much. Whereas, certainly these two will be. Do I give it to you? Health goes up to 32. She gains 2 hit points for that. Yeah, so it's basically it's 2 hit points plus a few other bits and pieces, maybe. I don't think there's any impact on these, is there? Oh, fortitude. So he'd get a slight bonus to fortitude. So is that another +1 to fortitude? Don't think you need that. I don't think you need it either, to be fair. Do I just give it to Erdos then? We can move things around later. No. I'm going to give it here. So the extra hit points I think will be useful. These two are going to be more tanky. Casting Bless. I will give it... I'll give it to Erdos. So he's got a few more options. If ever I think to actually have him use spells. Right. Are we meant to rest now? Alright, okay. There's space for 6. Well, there's space here for 6. I don't know. Maybe we're going to pick up a few more people. You wake up... Oh, there's a kitty running around. You wake up from a nasty dream that tortures you almost all night long. In it you saw a wall of a naturally thick fog that surrounded you, slowly moving closer and closer. A quick look out of the window, and you find out that the fog was not a figment of your imagination, not a dream, and then...
Hear me. Please hear me. Can you hear me? Please.
Seems that only you can see or hear her. Who are you?
Who am I? Just a tear shed by the land itself. The bitter sigh of nature. I am a nymph, the guardian of this area. A defeated guardian. Call me the guardian of the bloom, if you wish.
What do you want from me?
Aid. Salvation. We have a common enemy, and long have I searched for someone who can defeat him. The one you call the Stag Lord. As a storm strikes ruthlessly with gusts and lightning, the Stag Lord wreaks havoc with the swords of his servants. And not just in the world of people. The land also suffers from the evil he brings. My forests and my flowers suffocate in this fog. Soon, even I will vanish, as the last ray of light fades at dusk.
The Stag Lord's responsible for this fog?
Yes. It hides his fortress as well as his dark deeds. But while responsible, he did not create this affliction. It is the work of a powerful druid who has betrayed even himself. I know not why the powers did not leave this renegade, but even I was unable to defeat him.
How can I help?
This fog, it enshrouds, entangles, suffocates. If only I could learn how it was created. But my powers wane. I have barely the strength to call out to you. All I know for certain is that somewhere in this forest lies an old house, and it echoes with the remnants of a strange power. The Stag Lord and his druid were there. The fog hides this place from me, but I can point you to the bandits' camp near the Thornford. Make them tell you where this place is. Go there and listen to the echo, catch the whispers, search for anything that can tell you how the fog was created. Once the fog clears, nature will breathe again, and you will be able to easily find your way to the fortress of our mutual enemy.
I understand. Farewell.
I don't believe in fate, stranger, but our meeting seems more than a coincidence.
It's not much of a coincidence. I mean, I think you... Well... I don't know how... okay. I don't know how the magic in this has worked. How is she communicating with us? Did she not choose to contact us? Alright. Right. There are no threats in this location. It is a sort of headquarters where you can prepare your party for a new expedition. In such locations, companions don't follow you around and will go about their own business. So it's kind of like the Normandy or the camp in Dragon Age Origins kind of thing. You can speak with them freely to get to know them better. Once you exit this location and return to the global map, you'll be able to choose the companions you wish to take with you, leaving the others here. Whenever you meet a new companion but don't want to include them in your party right away, that companion will travel to this location on their own. Okay. Cool. There's Lindsay. Anoriel 8 Eyes. I'm going to guess elf. Well, I mean, we may as well go around and chat with people. That's the thing we do in these kind of moments. Halfling girl with tousled hair, wearing a dusty traveller's outfit, sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment, how should I put this? Oh, I know! She scribbles something quickly in a notebook, scrawled with verse, raises her eyes and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi! Tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Where are you from? Oh, I'm from all over. I was actually born in Galt, a nation free thinkers and radicals renowned for brilliant poets, artists and philosophers. Ideas shape the politics for the whole of Avestan. I don't know where that is. Alright. In such a tiny village that's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teachers, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, using books only as kindling. Oh, who was your teacher? A true saint. He was once an important person in the capital at the Church of Shellen. I've already... Okay, the Eternal Rose, the Eternal Maiden, the Incorruptible, goddess of art, beauty, love, and music, and the half-sister of Zon Cathon. Shellen focuses just as much attention on internal beauty as external. As aspects of her role as goddess of beauty, Shellen also promotes the creation of art and the composing and performance of music. Clerics of Shellen frequently are artists themselves. As the goddess of love, Shellen encourages the proliferation of that feeling in all its forms. She's not the goddess of sexuality, lust, or fertility, and makes a very clear distinction between love and sexuality, although she does not in any way discourage erotic love. The few paladins who worship her practice courtly love. But he got in trouble with the authorities and went on self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most god's-forsaken priestless village he could find, the one I was born in. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas into our children's heads. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write. He gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Archknights of Avestan, continent on the world of Golarion, one of the most heavily settled areas on the planet. Stretching back. Brevoy, the River Kingdoms, Numeria, and Stolen Lands are all situated on Avestan. Okay. When I told him I was going on a journey, he gave me a embroidered ring so that Shellen would protect me from harm. I haven't seen him in a while since I ran away from home. I hope he's alright. I ask Shellen every day to grant him a long life and new students. Archknights of Avestan, who are they? Oh, you haven't heard of them? How can you be a hero without knowing of one of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No. I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself. Every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now look at me. Here I am, on a heroic quest. Hooray! How did you become a bard? When I realised there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A travelling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me as an apprentice. Together we travelled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor, and even Ustalav. And then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Pitax. Not as popular as some of the great bardic schools in the sea. Academy of Grand Arts still manages to attract some students. I thought, well, I love reading stories, so I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me. But that's okay. They'd already taught me all the important stuff. And now with Shellen's help, I can manage on my own. So you worship Shellen? Yes, not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is. But only the eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls us to the world as it should be. So why are you so messy? Lindsay waves her hand carelessly. Forget it, I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are ready reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Okay. Tell me about Pitax. Oh, I love Pitax, even though they kicked me out. A joyful place. What's life there like? Well, actually, Pitax has always been one huge nest of thieves, bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card shops. It's always been home for the likes of them. That was before Iravetti became king. With him, a whole different life began. Iravetti always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown. Though that's exactly what he is. He wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts and spent lots of money to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Pitax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabaret. What do you know of the king? Oh, he won his crown in a game of cards, which says as much about Pitax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started to pull off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Pitax, and also, he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. Getting drunk with whores at the pub, that's not Lord Iravetti's style. Oh, no, he aims higher. Dressing up like a male Calistria, goddess of lust and revenge, with a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy, with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more his style. He also likes singing. He orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May Shellen have mercy on his listeners. Tell me about the academy. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Iravetti for building it, but he has no taste at all, whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, and grandiose, and more importantly, glorifying his Royal Highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't want to spend money on grey scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianjia for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the academy to expel me. And for what? An innocent limerick? Would you like to go back and finish your studies? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now and returned all the ones they banished. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. If my art was to Iravetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. Leave and do not return. That's mean. Let's not be mean. Tell me about the book you're writing. What is there to tell? You've seen some of my rough drafts already, haven't you? It's a book about you and your adventures. Haven't had any yet, really. I'm writing the whole truth. Oh dear. Just as it happened. Oh dear. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. Why are you writing? When I was at the academy, Eobald the Insightful began his literary course with the question, what is a person? And he answered, a person is a storytelling animal. Our world does not consist of things, all these woods, cities and seas. It consists of stories about those things, the stories we tell to ourselves and to each other. Just think about it. Centuries will pass and there'll be no me and no you. All your subjects will be long gone, but you and I will live on in people's memories and influence their deeds, thanks to this very book. So what kind of character am I? Truth be told, I was a little afraid of meeting a real hero. In books, they're all protectors of the weak and poor, but what about in real life? But you eased all my fears with 2 shakes of a tail. You're a true hero, just like in the legends. My new fear is that in 100 years, my readers will say that people like you never existed. But I'm writing the truth. You have an iron core. No matter what tricks fate throws in your path, you always know what's right and what's wrong. Some might say that's boring, but others will learn from you, from your strong character. I've been playing for, what, like 2.5, 3 hours? Well, I mean, some of that's character generation and leveling up, so how do you know this stuff? How do you feel about me reading your work in progress? Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that even if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course, it's a book about you, but it's my book. Understood? As long as you write truth. Write whatever you wish. Oh, so I could say anything. Of course you can write whatever you want, but you know what happens when writers do this? Please, they're rulers. I'd rather say. I've no interest in censorship. Write whatever you wish, it's your right. No. Yeah, as long as you write the truth, I have no objection. I swear, Lindsay puts her little hand over her heart. Truth, only truth, and just a teensy bit of imaginative exaggeration. Tell me about your friendship with Tessie. I'm just going through all the dialogue now. Tell me about your friendship with Tessie the Quill. What's there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to finally get out of my village. At first, Tessie tried in vain to get rid of me, but later, when I told her I was head-staying in Patax, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. And what about the ring you always wear? Ah, this! Lindsay holds her arm for you to get a clear view of the ring. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued by the powers of Shellin, no less. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So, please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here. Promise. Right.